folks, I'm Mike Witcher, and this is Peghead Nation. In this lesson, we're going to learn the classic tune, Amazing Grace. This is a great lesson as an introduction to playing that vocal style on the Dobro. We're going to focus mostly on the first string, and we'll span the fretboard using the G major scale on that first string. And if you're looking for a great exercise in intonation, this is going to be a perfect place to start. All right, here's how it goes. All right, folks, pull out your tab paper and let's get started with Amazing Grace. This is in the key of G. Again, this tune has 3 chords, G, C, and D. Sometimes people like to substitute a couple of E minors in there from place to place, but let's go over the basic chord structure. It starts out with G, down to C, back to G, stays on G, up to D, back to G, to C, G, G, D, G. If you haven't caught on yet, this is in 3/4 time, and here's how the melody starts out. We're going to play most of the melody on the first string. So the notes start out D, E, G, D, E, G. Here's the second phrase. We go up to that B on our first string. That's 7 to 9. Back to 7. Catch the G on the second string, 8th fret. Sliding back up to that B. Let's put those together. Now we're going to walk down the scale to the C chord. That's when it goes to that C chord. Walk down, A, G. Here, if you like, you can strum a nice full C chord. E, which is your second string, to the first string open. Sometimes when I play that E, I'll play a chord with it, so it might be second string, third string, fourth string. And I'll play the G chord to get back to the G also on the top 3 strings. Let me play that whole section for you. First phrase repeats. Second phrase repeats. Now we're going to work our way to the 5 chord. which is a D chord, and the melody note happens to be D. So we go back to the A. I'd like to slide all the way from 7 up to 12 and play a few filler notes to fill in that D chord. Let's connect that to the first two phrases of that second half. Being up here at the 12th fret, we're right at the weakest point in the string, so any extra weight from your hand really affects your intonation. So every time I get up there, I'm adjusting my bar pressure and moving back and forth to make sure I can get in tune. Here's the next phrase. So once we're up there filling in that D chord, let's go back to the B on the 9th fret, up to D. This phrase you already know. Walk your way down to the C. Back to G. First phrase repeats. Second phrase repeats. Then it walks down D chord, which is we're at the 7th fret now. Resolves back to G at the 5th fret. I'll go all the way through the melody this time. Toss in a little 4 chord at the end there. So one thing to think about is the vocal quality of the dobro, which is why I play this instrument. I love the singing quality here. And to start developing that singing quality, you need to start playing on one string at a time. So with Amazing Grace, this is a great way to start out down that path. So while your bar is on the first string, see if you can play this melody cleanly without lifting the bar. So you might have noticed that I was using a little bit of vibrato, which basically adds some texture to the note. Just kind of moving the bar back and forth a little bit. In this case, I'm not necessarily trying to change the pitch, I just want to add a little texture to it. Now, you can do a wide vibrato, which would change the pitch of the note. So find what sounds good to you. For me, basically in the style that I'm playing this tune, I like a really shallow vibrato that's more about a subtle texture on the note. One thing that can get tricky though is some people will use vibrato to cover up their bad intonation. I certainly do it from time to time, but at this beginning stage you want to be able to play the notes in tune first. So always get your note in tune once you know it's in tune, then you can add a little texture to it if you think it needs it. When I do a straight bar vibrato, like say I'm covering all the strings, instead of shaking the bar back and forth, which makes all that string noise, I actually just kind of roll on the curve of the bar. So have fun with that. I'm Mike Witcher, and that was Amazing Grace with Peghead Nation.